Hello, my friends. My name is Cheryl Spangler. If you're seeing this video, I am live to talk about a topic that I'm super passionate about. Something that I spend time every morning working on, helping people with, and that is avoiding foreclosure. This morning, let me just put this up a second. I did a podcast with Lee Brown. And if you don't know who she is, by the way, she's running for office in North Carolina. And she has this podcast called Crazy Shit in Real Estate. And we got talking about distressed properties. And this is something that I have been doing, helping people for the last 12 years since I myself had to short sell my own property in 2010. And the system that I created after I experienced it is what I use to help other people. But I wanted to talk about some differences between what is actually happening right now in the foreclosure distressed property side of the world and what happened in 2010 and what's different. If you look at the stats right now on foreclosures, and I have a lot in front of me I want to share that will make this picture a little clearer. The biggest thing that I want this live stream to share with you is that the really what's going on, what homeowners are really dealing with, and where the problems lie, and how the mainstream media telling you that foreclosures are down, which they technically are, and why that is. So in 2010, banks were actually foreclosing on people. They were sending them letters in pre-foreclosure, and within 7 months, actually, people were foreclosed on. The average time for a home in 2010 and 11, 9, 10, 11, to be foreclosed on was approximately 7 months. The average time right now for a homeowner to be foreclosed on in 2023 is 1,200 days. That's around 3 years and 3 months. So actually, people have a really long time to either do one of three things. If you have received a pre-foreclosure notice, a letter from your lender saying they're going to foreclose on you, you have basically three primary options. You can either pay what's back due and figure out a way to come up with the money. You can file bankruptcy to stop the foreclosure while you either figure out how to come up with the money or sell it, or you can go to auction. So one of the big differences between 2010 financial crisis and 2023 is that banks are not necessarily foreclosing on people, and they're not really doing a lot of short sales. They're actually putting your home up for auction. Every single day, first, let me just say, every single day in Virginia, there's somewhere between 30 and 70 people who are receiving foreclosure notices. And when I say receiving notices, I mean they're receiving a notice stating that their home is going up for auction. And by law in the state of Virginia, you have got to be given 60 days, at least 60 days notice. It used to be shorter. Now you have to receive at least 60 days notice before you can be foreclosed on. But one in every 1,000 people in the state of Virginia is being foreclosed on right now. Here, just to give you an example, in Florida, 1 in every 532 homeowners are being foreclosed on. That is huge. It's huge here and there. Somewhere in the middle that I talked about this morning was North Carolina, for example, is 1 in every 816 homeowners are foreclosed on. Now, to actually be foreclosed on, you have to have spent the last 2 to 3 years avoiding the mail, not contacting anyone, getting letter after letter. And almost, I would say 25% of those people that contact me back when I reach out to every single person in the state of Virginia who has a pre-foreclosure notice gets a letter from me, everyone. And when they do, I normally remail them and I remail them again. And this is not because Cheryl is prospecting for listings. This is because I know what they're going through and I wish someone would have contacted me. I wish someone would have sent me a letter telling me all the options 12 years ago. And so when I wake up in the morning and I have a list of all the new foreclosures that have been put on auction block, all the homes and the people that live in them and the families that live in them that have sometimes no idea, I'm like, wow, there's 92 people today that need my help. There are 92 people that need to know that someone is not going to judge them. Instead, they're going to give them options. And I feel like the number one reason why people do not reach out for help, no matter what price range, 200, 500, or 2 million, is because they feel like they're going to be judged. Why? Because they are currently probably being judged by their friends and their family and their colleagues. I know because 10, 12 years ago, I was. Probably the worst judgment I got was from my own colleagues. So I basically spent years putting together a team. And when I say a team, I do not mean a team of real estate agents. I mean a team of inspectors, junk removal companies, clean out companies. We actually, when someone calls and we communicate with a homeowner who's in distress, we actually offer 5 free services. We offer to move their stuff into storage, to clean out their house, to remove their junk, to help them sell things they don't need on Facebook to make money, and also a referral to someone that we trust who is a bankruptcy attorney who could potentially stop a last minute foreclosure. If you think that you are living in everyone else around you is having to deal with some kind of financial crisis and you're not, just know that some of these people, families, government workers, people with good jobs, somehow through tons of different scenarios, get into the situation by missing a mortgage payment. I would say 25% of people who are responding to the communication about the fact that their home is up for auction right now is because they went through the forbearance period through COVID. They went through and were told that they could do forbearance. If you guys have a comment, drop it. They went through the allowed forbearance period that everyone was said, don't make your mortgage payment for a couple months. And then somewhere along the way that expired. They didn't realize it. And basically now they're in foreclosure. The moratorium ended and they just, for whatever reason, now obviously there's some people at fault for not responding to their mortgage company's letters. But what if, all that aside, you still need help? If you know someone right now who is like, I don't know what to do, have them reach out to me, have them call me. I literally have made it my mission, I'm not kidding, to spread out and have an incredible network of people, most of which are help focused, heart help focused. That means that they're coming at this idea of helping distressed homeowners to literally make sure that they do not go to auction, they do not lose their home, they are not out on the street, and they are not homeless. So one of the reasons the foreclosure numbers are so low right now, if you look at stats, is because the banks are actually auctioning the home off. They're not foreclosing on the home. It costs a bank somewhere between low end $10,000, high end $40,000 to foreclose on you, figure out what's going on, put the utilities in their name, fix up anything that needs repair, anything that maybe was damaged based on the fact that utilities were off and water leaked out somewhere, and then put the home back on the market. Then they got to pay real estate commissions. The whole thing costs them a ton of money. Instead, what they're doing is they're just putting your home up for auction. And when that auction date comes, whoever comes to that auction, which is you, all these people that will eventually watch this video, you cash buyers, you will go to this auction and you will buy that home and you will be responsible for what the bank used to take ownership of. You will be responsible for the back utilities, the back taxes, the back owed mortgage, the payoff of the mortgage, anything, the people, the family that lives there. You will have to kick them out. You will have to see if they need to rent. You will have to come up with all the solutions because you will own it, not the bank. That is why foreclosures are low. In 2009 and 10, there were around, I actually had to write this down. There were actually like 1.3 million foreclosures. Think about that. In 2009 and 10, financial crisis, there were like 1.3 million foreclosures, right, in that year. And today, In 2010, 1.6 million. In 2023, 185,000 foreclosures. But it doesn't mean that less people are being foreclosed on. It means that there's a massive amount of pre-foreclosure letters going out telling people they're going to be foreclosed on. And they do everything and whatever it takes to either beg, borrow, steal, and pay up what's due, or they go to auction. So they're just basically making another investor responsible for it. So the foreclosure numbers look smaller. But trust me, they're not. They've increased. It used to be every single morning there was 5 to 7 in Virginia, and then there was 15. It was like, wow, today there's 20. Wow, 30. Now 57. This morning, 92. In Virginia, 1 in every 1,000 people are literally getting a notice telling them that their home is up for auction and they're going to be booted out. In Virginia, there are around 8.3 million people. 1.1 million of those people live in Fairfax County, the largest county in Virginia. And about 64% of everyone that lives in Virginia, specifically in Fairfax County, actually owns a home. 68% of people who live in Fairfax County own a home. That means 32% rent. And of the 68%, 1 out of every 1,000 people are being kicked out. So I would love to get feedback on where you think the economy and specifically the distressed market is. If you shy away from this conversation because you feel like this is something that's private and personal and it's really none of your business because, God forbid, you're in this situation and that you're financially savvy and you've taken care of everything and you've done everything right. But for those few people that are willing to come forward and ask for help, please do it sooner than later. Of all the communication that I send out to people who are basically have their home up for auction, the majority of people call me, text me back, or email 1 week prior to the auction date. And I know that that's because they are trying to figure out everything they can to avoid having that happen. They think it will never happen. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to come up with the money, all this. But reach out 21 days prior to your auction date, and you literally could find someone to buy your home in cash. One of the things that I've made it a mission to do is provide an unlimited, as many as possible, amount of cash buyers willing to buy at any price range, 200, 500, 1 million, 2 million. It doesn't matter what your home price is, literally. There's actually a very, very large amount of homes over 1 million right now in foreclosure. But they won't come forward because it's embarrassing. But I want to tell you, don't be embarrassed. Reach out at least 21 days prior to your auction date, because there is someone that can buy your home in cash. And this may not be something where your home goes on the market actively, but it is something where someone is standing by, waiting to buy a home to avoid you going to auction. I know that no one is talking about the auctions, but it is something that I actually help people with every single week. In fact, today, an amazing story of helping someone and her older boys avoid foreclosure and get back into the home that they actually sold 2 days before it went to auction, that we helped her avoid losing. She lost the home, but just 2 days prior to the auction date, which would have been disastrous, by the way, on many levels. And then someone bought it, renovated it, and now she's actually moving back in as a renter. So, there's amazing stories. And I just feel like if you're a real estate agent and a broker and you're seeing this video, you have to, you literally have this moral obligation, I feel like, to help the homeowners. And, I realize, and this is side note, but I realize that there's a lot going on in the real estate industry. And in fact, there's a lot of real estate agents who are literally struggling. You don't think, well, out of that 1 out of 1,000, some of those aren't agents? Yes, they are. They are. Cross-reference all these addresses with, absolutely. Where you could make an impact and earn money is actually helping people in foreclosure. So some other interesting things is there's I would say there's 5 states that have the most foreclosures, and Virginia is actually not one of those. But this is just a testament to it doesn't matter really what state is on the like perceived list of top 5. Every single person is dealing with it. But if you're interested in like the top 5 states currently right now with the greatest increase in foreclosures in 2023, it's Maryland, Oregon, Alaska, West Virginia, Arkansas, and I would even go the next in line, Illinois, New Jersey, Delaware, Ohio, and South Carolina. But all in all, I would say 1 out of every 1,000 people, probably everywhere, is currently getting a notice of some kind. These are public notices, by the way. They are required by law to publicly notify in a newspaper, and now it's online newspapers. Public notices, virginia.com. You can find out, if your home, like a very large percentage of people that actually reach back out to me when I communicate with people in foreclosure don't even know their home is being foreclosed on. So either they never open their mail or their lender has done a poor communication with them, or they have some agreement with their lender that they're not aware has expired. And I feel like we need to put more emphasis on this happening right now because there's so many stories. And if you look at the news, all you see is, well, in the last financial crisis, 2008, there was like 1.3 million foreclosures. Now we're down like literally 75%. That is only because they're auctioning the home off. They're not foreclosing on it. They're putting the onus of all the things they used to do on the cash buyer who's buying the property. What do you guys think about this? I am going to stay on for a second just to see if anyone has any questions. I am going to go live at least once a week on all of my social media, which, by the way, is The Good Side of Real Estate. I have a YouTube channel, my Instagram, Cheryl Spangler Real Estate, this Facebook page, which is actually Live in Old Town. And I have others, but that's the primary 3. And I also have a Twitter. The thing is, I want people to reach out prior to the day before. Now, I basically have 2 groups of cash investors. One can buy a home within 5 days of getting all the information that we need, which there's 4 pieces of information that I need from every single person that calls in and says, okay, I need to get rid of my house. It's going up for foreclosure. I have a bunch of equity. I don't want to lose it. Because guess what? When it goes to auction, they sell it to the lowest, highest, whatever bidder. And if it happens to be enough to pay off your mortgage, great. And if not, they're going to take this monster amount of fees that they rack up, and you may or may not get a dime. And when people call, they're in one of 2 places. They're either in it's next week, or they have more like 21 days or more before the auction date. And so I ended up kind of putting investors into 2 categories. One is someone, when given all the information, they can buy in literally 3 to 4 days. And the other is someone who needs that 21-day period to use a hard money lender or whatever they need to get their money, and they don't have it like totally liquid. But you're not alone. You are not alone, and there is help. And you can go to virginiahomerescue.com. I'm actually going to type this right here and put it out there for people. And I'm going to put it up on the screen, because that is a website that I run social media marketing to. And also I put on the letters that I mail to people, and it gets a lot of response. It is a way for people to communicate that they don't have to go through the main communication method, because believe it or not, people who are in distress and people who are not in distress don't like to intermingle. That no one wants anyone to know that they're in distress. I get it. So there's an entirely different website for people who are in distress, Virginia Home Rescue. And we truly do rescue people from auction. And that's basically what it is. It's not necessarily foreclosure anymore. Yes, you're in foreclosure, but they're going to auction your home off and they're going to give it to someone else and let them take onus of it. If you guys would like more information and you have questions on anything foreclosure related, literally anything, contact me. And not because I'm an attorney, I'm not, and I'm not a CPA, and I'm not giving you tax advice. But I do have, like I said, a network of people that I lean on, that I've leaned on for 10 to 15 years, and I trust that can stop the foreclosure if your goal is to stay in the home and you don't want the solution of selling, then there's a solution for that too. Okay, well, I will see you guys on the next video. It may or may not be about this topic, but I am going to continue on about this topic because I think it's something that needs to be talked about. There are a lot of people out there that are scared, that are getting, notices. They don't know what to do. They're also not opening mail. And so I think that we all need to help everyone. Everyone needs to come together as a village and help and stop judging. And I will be the first person to take your phone call and see what I can do or who I can refer you to if I can't help you myself. So see you guys next time.